trees and smouldering butterflies found near wildfires. It's very good against this Bloodborne-esque boss. So you're probably starting to understand why I like the Twin Blade. Its default weapon art is very strong, and it even stun locks this boss. On the left side of the screen, you can see what weapon art is currently active. The Twin Blade's default art is called Spinning Slash, and it's active because I'm two-handing the weapon. If I was to one-hand it and have my shield in the left hand, I would use my shield's weapon art instead. The Beastman drops the Viridian Amber Medallion. It looked like it was inspired by Bloodborne, but this one is the Nightmare Fuel. Oh yeah, so the Flask of Wondrous Physic that we mixed does two things. First, it restores my health, but then it also gets rid of it, because I explode. But the explosion does way more to the enemy than it does to us. So on the left side of the screen, there's a little symbol, looks like a gravestone. This lets you know that you can summon help. And once again, these wolf boys are a very powerful tool. Maybe too powerful, I'm not really sure where I stand on spirit summons yet. Bosses clearly have a lot of AoE attacks now, and some bosses do just obliterate your summons instantly. But the fact remains, if you want to be at your most powerful, it is going to almost always be a good idea to summon your spirits when you can, because they don't cost that much FP, and they distract the boss long enough for you to do a ton of damage. This one didn't even die. If you were on foot, you might never have found it. Pumpkinhead. He's aptly named, and his head is actually completely immune to damage, which can definitely screw you over, depending on the weapons you're using. He also makes short work of our summons. So you'll see that summons aren't always super useful. One thing it took me a while to remember is that, like Dark Souls, shields are very, very effective. Rolling through everything might get you killed more often than not. Interestingly though, a lot of bosses now inflict a bleed effect, I've noticed, so you can't just rely on hiding behind your shield all the time, or that bleed effect is going to get out of control. Another advantage of two-handing weapons I found is that it deals significantly more posture damage. Posture is now this weird blend of Dark Souls and Sekiro, where it's this invisible meter that you build up, like in Dark Souls I guess, but unlike Dark Souls it builds up on them regardless of whether they're blocking. So, for example, any boss that you're hitting is probably taking posture damage, and depending on the weapon you're using and the nature of the attacks you're doing, you might open them up to a critical attack. It doesn't happen against this boss, but it's definitely worth keeping in mind. Why Glintstone Arch is such a good weapon art. Yeah, so, weapon arts, or skills, or ashes of war. Whatever you call them, they're powerful, especially the magical ones, and especially when you consider that they get more powerful when you upgrade your weapon, and I haven't upgraded my weapon yet. You can get weapons.
Foul tarnished. In search of the Elden Ring. Emboldened by the flame of ambition. Someone must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell.
Margit the Fell is tough. He has a lot of attacks that come out at a moment's notice and a lot of gap closers that can catch you while you're trying to heal. When I finally beat him for the first time, it was with a way weaker greatsword build and no summons. The only way I could manage it was by delaying his second phase as much as possible and making sure I broke his posture within it. Have a look.